Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my students, once again. Welcome to all of my students for the College of Computer Science and Information Technology, King Faisal University. Welcome back. Today, with this part, we're going to discuss about the registration process, which is the second part for the Android web app connectivity. Here, we will deal with the Android part, and we'll see that how we are becoming able to continue the previous task by providing the values through the Android application to register the users. So this is the second part, and in the third part we will cover about the login or how to retrieve the data from the MySQL. So please be with me. We're going to start with the same fashion to discuss. This is the recap for the previous lecture. That's just for your reminder. So that's why we're going to go a little quickly. And this is the part what we already covered, which is a strike line, and they are with the different font colors. They are already covered with the previous part, and today we are going to focus about the part number 2, which is the registration part. And this was the last again recap. So you just focus for this recap. Now we're going ahead. This is the database that we created for our previous lecture, and that what we will use the same. Here we have a one table, and our database name is the MyphpAmdin, and the table name is the user info, and these are the 3 columns for the database. And the same scripts what we used for our previous lab that we will use here also, but with the slightly changes. So what will be the changes? We will discuss soon about those changes also. Just go ahead again. This is the same for the recap. We're just going ahead. Please make sure while you start your this lecture again, while you start implementing this lecture again, you must confirm first that your web server is running, and that is in the green color. So that will be great. So now from here we are going to start about our second part, which is the user registration, inserting data MySQL. This will be here user interface, and what we required that today we will just go for the registration purpose. So this is the layout files we are going to discuss in a couple of minutes. What we required actually, here you can see the 2 things together. So if you just focus on this, that for the registration we have the 3 Java class files: the main activity, register, and background task. This is the same concept what we discussed in the class about the async task in detail, and about these methods and why we use that. And if you just focus about this snapshot, so you can find these are the same classes what we are discussing here. And while there are the 2 layout files which you can see in next slide. The next slide what we are watching here, these are the layout files, only 2: activity main XML and activity register XML. So coming back here, so you can see these are the 2 layouts, and they are mentioned also here. Going ahead, just to see that what this contain. This is actually the detailed description about the layout file. So what we have here, we have the one edit text here, and another edit text also here. We're just going to see in our application also, and you can find here again another edit text, and just go ahead. So you will find the 2 buttons, and the one button is for the login and another button is for the registration. This is about the activity main, and if you just go ahead, so you will find out about the activity register, which is this one is for the register. This layout contains the name, which is the nickname for the user, username, password, and the register button. So here these are the 3 edit text boxes. So this is number 1 edit text box, this is the number 2 edit text box, and this is the number 3 edit box. And this contains only the 1 button, which is the button for the registration, and the ID for this button is the new user password. And this is the whole actually layout file. Going ahead, before we just go to discuss the code from here, what we will do, we will just have a quick look here at the presentation, and then we will go back to the Android application. So you can see here that this is the main activity, and this is the code. We are just going to focus it here. This is the code for the main activity, and then if we just go ahead, this is the code for the register .java. So you can find from here that what is the code. In a couple of minutes we are going to discuss the code with the Android Studio. So just go ahead. This is again continuation with the register.java, and this is the whole about the code about the registration.java. Then this is the code about the background task.java, which is created by us, and these are the different methods what we are using there, and how that we will discuss in a couple of minutes, inshallah. So this is again in continuation. This is the whole complete code. So just to review the presentation, and then again this is the another file. This is continuation for the code, and again if we just go ahead, let's have a quick look for the code. So this is the code here, and as we described, it will use it. We will see it in the Android, and these are the comments. Intentionally I just put the comments. You might notice that for each method, for each line, most of the lines, there are the comments. Those the comments are telling you that what we are going to do with this one, which will help you to understand, and which will help you to implement it, how you are just going to implement. So again, this is the code continue for the background, and the code is ending here with the methods, and we're just going to discuss it now in a few minutes. And this code is showing us that actually what we need to change in Android manifest file, which is to allow the permissions to use the internet permissions, because here you are going to use your MySQL database. This is the app and the web connectivity, and now these are the files what we make the changes for the script files. So we will come back again to the script files. Before that, we just please allow me to take you there just to see that how the things are working. This is your database that what we already discussed. You can find from here, this is your web app DB and user information, and this table is empty. There is no value here. The same what we did, and this is the same database what we are going to use today also. And if we just come back here, so you can find that this application is open here. Now if you just see for the activity, this is the activity, that's what we were discussing, and this is the layout file. There are the this is the text view, then this is the we can maybe zoom it so you can understand easily. This is the edit text one, and this is the another edit text, and this is the button for the login, and this is the button for the registration, and this is the activity underscore main .xml, and we discussed that there are the two activities. So if we just go for the second activity, so this is the activity main activity register.xml. So this layout contain again, the one is the text view, another is the edit text, one edit text, two edit text, and three edit text. So the one edit text is actually for the nickname of the user, and the other is actually for the username, the second one, and the third one is actually for the user password. This is all about, and this is the button for the register. And if we just open this one, so you can see from here that this is actually the complete layout. We're just going to enhance its screen, so you can see from here that this is actually the layout design for the activity underscore register.xml. So please allow me, just come back here. We're just going to the main activity.java file. So you will find here with the codes and with the comments what we are going to do here. This is step number one. I just try to put it into the comments, and especially for the few of the initial, I just put step numbers in the sequence as you will come to know that what it is and what we need to use. So here you can see that we define the one of the method, which is the user registration. So user registration, this is the method that what we will use when we will click to the button. So we will use this one. What we are doing here, we're just using to call the intent, that when we click to the register, so what action should be performed. And then this is another method. This is for the user login, and this method we will use it in our step number 3 and the part number 3. And then we are just going back to the register. So this is the register. You will find the same mechanism, that here there are the posts and the steps. So you can see that this is the step number 3 that we are mentioning here. What we are going to do, this is the your register class, and what we are going to do with the step number 4, you can see that we need the few variable, the text variables. These variables are edit text, which is the et name number 1, and the et username, and the et user pass. Because we have the 3 values, so we just declare the 3 variables. And we also need the 3 string variables, which is the name, which is the name, the username, and the user pass. We will use these variables very soon. So after going that, this is the step number 5, where we are just going to initialize these variables, the edit text variable what we just created. So et name, et username, and et pass. What we are just going to do them, we are going to initialize them. So this is equal to edit text and the find by ID. This is the name, new username, and the new user pass. New username and new user pass is what this is. You may notice from here, that's what we define these values here. This is the new user pass. This is the edit text for user, and this is the new user name, and this is another edit text, and this is the name. So we can say that this is the same that what we are using here. So these are the values what we are using here. Then we just go for the step number 7. We need to define a method on click for the user registration, that what action should be performed. A method for the button on the registration in the user interface, that would be is below. So now we created the variables. What we are going to do here, these variables are the assigning these values to the string variables. So what we are getting the value from the et name, getting the text value, converting to the string, and that value we are going to assign to the string variable name, that what the variable we just created a couple of minutes before. This is the variable here. These are the variables. So we are assigning these values to the variable. So this is you are assigning a value to the variable, to the name. This is the username, and this is to the user pass. So getting the values from the edit text 1, edit text 2, edit text 3, converting them to the string, and then we are assigning these values to the string variables. That's what we create a couple of minutes before. So this is done here. And now just go ahead. What we are going to do, we are just going to, if you just follow this the names of the steps, then you can read from the comments also, that with step number 9 we need a background task. Now we need a background task, that how to perform that when we get these values from the edit text, while I'm using et referring to the edit text. So we actually now we need a background task class to deal with the above information what we are getting from the user. And now background task class, by clicking how we need it. So you can add the background class by right clicking to the package, and you may name it as the background task, as you can see from here, background task, or whatever the name you want to suggest, no issue. So just go to create a class, and in addition we need to create one method which we may name it as a register, because we are going to do this task for the register, and which we will discuss these lines once we just go for the background, to create the background class first. So come here please. This is the class what we have created, and what we are going to do here, first of all we are just going to create a context variable here, and then we are just going a constructor and passing this value, providing the argument and passing this value, and then we're just coming back to add the 4 different method async methods, async task, which what you remember that we discussed in our class. I hope that you remember these. These are the 4 on pre-execute, do in background, and the number 3 is the progress and on progress update, and number 4, which is the on post execute. So these all are the 4, and you will again learn, that's what we discussed in depth and detail in the classroom in our previous lecture, that what we are going to perform, what we are going to do with these methods. So now we're coming here to the do in background, and again follow the comments. So you will learn, as you can learn from the step number 10, you can see from here that this is the need to add the following 4 assigned methods. So these are the pre-execute, do in background, and in the progress, and also the end is the post-execute method. So here what we are going to do, we need a forward the information to the MySQL to know for what the process is registers. So we need here to create the URLs. So we are just going to create the 2 URL. One URL is for the register underscore URL, and the other one is the login and underscore URL. This we will discuss in our coming part 3, while we are considering for here. So what we are going to do, this is the IP, this is for the local host IP, while because we are using this the AVD animator, that's why we are using this. This is the default IP address for that, 10.0.22 and 2, and please be careful that this 8080 referring to our the first part where we discussed that if you are using the IIS server also and Apache at the same time, that's why you need to change the port number. Otherwise, if you are not using the both together, then you can end up here, and then you can give the path for your directory, and this is the register.php. This is your script. So we'll discuss the script at the end, and we're focusing now for this URL, and we will focus for this URL at the end, inshallah. So now we need to know that what the process, how to process register pass, how the process is it the registration process or the login process. So we just define a method. This is the and pass the parameters. So params are the 0 if the method is equal to the register. So what are the params? The one parameter is the name, another param is the username, and other param is the user pass, and this is in case of the register. You remember that if it is the login, then we may have only 2 parameters, not the 3. So just apply the try catch block to this one, and here we are just creating the URL object. You remember that what the URL object what we created there, the URL, and then we are just going to use the HTTP URL connection, and we are just going to create its object and also doing the typecasting here. So just create the URL object here, and also just go for the typecasting. We will use the post method here, so just pass the post method, and you may notice here that we are using this object, and we are saying that the set do output true. So we require the output stream. Output stream required to get the object of the for the output stream. So we are declaring the output stream here, and this is the object for the output stream. And then we need a writer. Why we need this? Because we are going to deal with the registration process. So for the registration process, actually we are going to write our values in the database. For writing the values, we are using the HTTP. We are using the HTTP URL connection, and then we need the output stream also, and then we also need the buffer writers to write the values. So here we are just going to use the buffer writer. This is the buffer writer, new buffer writer, and this is the output stream. We are passing the output stream, and this is the UTF format. So we need to apply the encoding the data. So that's why we need to declare the string data as we can encode it, because we are using the encoding format. So we need string data, and we are going to URL encoder, using the URL encoder, encode it and pass the values for the user and encode format. And then for 3 of them we use for the name and for the username and for the user password. That's why we are using the AND operator here. This is the AND operator, just to join them and just to pass for these three of the values, for the nickname, for the username, and for the user password. And please remember that here don't go for this space. While you are typing, you may forget that there is a space before and after the equal. Then you will face a problem, then you will face an error. So please make sure that there is no space at all for these things. So once we're done with the buffer writer, so now we need to write the data. This is the data what we just assigned the values here. So these values now we need to write in the buffer using the buffer writer. So we are just passing the data, and the buffer write, once we're done with this one, so we are saying the buffer writer dot flush, and then we just close the buffer writer, and also now we need to close the output stream because that is done. Now we need to input the stream to get the response from the server, because we need a message from the server that our data is done, or your user registration has been done, or whatever is the message. So this is the input stream. Just create an object for the input stream, and we also just close the input stream here, close it, and we need a return value only that the registration process is successfully done. So once this is done here, now all of the operations is done. Now we just only need to show this message to the user. So just please come up to the on post executes method here at the end, refer to the class again, and what we are going to do here, we're just going to give the message, this is the registration successfully done, and this method through the toast. So this is the toast, we just declare the toast and pass the ctx context values result, and call the show method to just show the information through the toast and the message which is given here. So the background operation is done, and remember, let's just go back to the register if we forget to finish this one. So just call the finish method and just call the finish, and this is now we are done with the coding. There is only need to run and test it. So here is our application is open already. So now we're just going to run it. One before it is just going to be loaded. We just choose this one. We just go back for our database and see that in the database there is no value, and then again come back and wait our application to run. So hope soon it will run, and then we'll just go to use the value for the register, and we need to verify that the values are going to be entered in our database. So please bear with me once the application is loaded. I hope the application will be loaded soon, and meanwhile you need to confirm that here your web server is running and it is in the green color while you are running the application. In case if your this is not running, then you will not be able to see your values. So we need to go for the register. The login will be in the next step. So we are saying that the name for the user, the nickname for the user. So we are saying the nickname is, for example, is the Noor Zaman, and the username is Noor, and the password is Noor and 123, and then saying Bismillah, and we just click into the register. So you just see this is the toast method. That's what we discussed, the registration successfully. So it is done. Now we're just going to check to verify in our database. So this is our database and there's no value, so we need to refresh this. Just refresh it and wait. Yes, Alhamdulillah, it's done. The user name is the Noor Zaman, which is the nickname for the registered user, and this is the username, and this is the user password. So Alhamdulillah, it is done. Congratulations to you, and thank you very much for listening. So inshallah, see you soon for its third part, where we will retrieve the data and where we will use for the user login method. Thank you very much once again.